Have you ever thought that just being good at your job, your talent, your hard work, should be enough to get you ahead? It's a nice idea, right? But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that. We're diving into the science and the strategy behind what might just be the single biggest factor in your career success, your network. Okay, let's just start with this bombshell of a quote. A huge study on modern artists found that fame wasn't really about being the most creative person in the room. Nope, it was about who you knew. And this isn't just a theory, it's backed by data. It totally flips the script on how we think about success. The whole starving artist idea, maybe it's not about a lack of talent, but a lack of the right introductions. Right. If being a flat-out genius isn't the golden ticket, then what is? That's the million-dollar question. And the answer isn't about getting lucky or just being a smooth talker. There's a real science to how relationships can literally fast-track our careers. So let's get into it. To really get the power of connection, we gotta look past the stories and dig into the actual research. We're talking about studies that follow people for years to see what the data truly reveals. First things first, what are we even talking about when we say networking? Well, a big study by researchers Wolf and Moser defined it pretty simply. It's not about being an extrovert. It's about intentional actions, building, keeping up, and actually using your relationships to help you in your work. So think of it less like a personality trait and more like a skill you can actually practice and get better at. Now, to understand the research, you need to know how scientists even measure success. They basically split it into two buckets. First, you've got objective success. That's the stuff you can count: your salary, your job title, how many promotions you've gotten. It's the external stuff. Then you've got subjective success. That's all internal. It's how you feel about your career. Are you happy, fulfilled? And believe me, this distinction is absolutely key. And check this out. This chart shows the first big finding, and it's crystal clear. The data doesn't lie. People who did more networking saw their salaries grow way faster over time. And look at that gap between the bars. It's not just a one-time thing. That gap gets wider and wider. So, better networking directly leads to more money and more promotions. Simple as that. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. That same study found that networking had basically no effect on the growth of career satisfaction. So, the people who networked more got richer, but they didn't report feeling any happier or more fulfilled in their careers over time. Crazy, right? It just goes to show you, networking can fill your bank account, but it won't automatically fill your soul. That's a whole different puzzle. So, it's obvious networking is a powerful tool for getting ahead financially. But let's be real, it's not a level playing field. Before we jump into a how-to, we have to talk about the fact that for a lot of people, there are some pretty big, invisible barriers to building these connections. And this is what those hurdles can look like. Research shows they can hit women and other underrepresented groups especially hard. Structural barriers, think of that as being stuck in a job where you never ever get to meet the senior leaders. It's like you're starting the race from behind a wall. And that, of course, leads to having fewer high-status contacts, the champions you need in those rooms where the big decisions are made. And then there's the really subtle stuff, these ingrained beliefs in society that might cause powerful people to just undervalue what you bring to the table. Knowing these hurdles exist isn't about making excuses. It's about knowing the map so you can figure out a better route. Okay, so recognizing those challenges is step one, super important. Step two, building a practical, doable plan that anyone, and I mean anyone, can use to start building a powerful network no matter where you're starting from. Let's get to it. The whole foundation of a great network really comes down to two kinds of relationships. You've got your strong ties. These are your people, your inner circle, the ones who've got your back. Then you have your weak ties. These are more like acquaintances, and you might think they're less important, but you'd be wrong. They are often the secret ingredient, the bridges to brand new worlds of opportunity. Just think about Picasso and George Braque. That's a perfect example of strong ties. These guys met up almost every single day, challenging each other, sharing ideas, giving brutally honest feedback. And it was that intense collaboration and trust that let them literally invent a new art form, Cubism. That's what an inner circle can do. And for weak ties, look at the artist Kandinsky. He had a pretty casual connection with an American art collector, Catherine Dreyer. Well, that one connection was the bridge that brought his totally radical art to a whole new continent. A single weak tie opened up the world for him and was a huge reason for his international fame. See? One conversation can change literally everything. So, how do you actually build both of these? Here's a super simple 4-step plan. 1.
Make time for your strong ties. Actively nurture those relationships. 2. Go out and find weak ties. Go to new places, meet new people, be curious. 3. Find what you could call connection hotspots, places where different professional worlds bump into each other. And finally, number 4, be a giver. Connect the people you know to each other.
Okay, I can already hear you thinking, I'm a busy professional. I don't have time for all this. And honestly, that's totally fair. But here's the good news. You don't have to go to schmooze fests every single night. The key is to make it manageable. Like, schedule just one email or call a week. Pick one social media platform and actually engage on it. Say yes to just one event a month, even if it's online. It's all about consistency, not intensity. So as we wrap this up, I want to reframe this whole idea. The point of all this is not to collect the most business cards or have the most LinkedIn connections. It's about something way deeper, way more real than that. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Quality beats quantity every single time. Having 5 people who will champion your work, who will give you real feedback, who will open doors for you, that is so much more valuable than having 5,000 people who barely remember your name. Focus on depth, not just how wide you can cast the net. And let's be crystal clear here. This does not mean your talent doesn't matter. It's the exact opposite. Your network is the amplifier for your talent. It's the delivery system. You have to make great stuff first. But then you also have to do the work of making sure the right people get a chance to see it. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really chew on. You're pouring your heart and soul into what you do. Your work is fantastic. So the only question left is, who needs to know about it? And what's your plan to make sure they find out?